Peace, peace, and peace. Hope everybody's doing well. And welcome to Striker Resemblance, episode 6. Creative, Jasmine said out loud as she held up the insulting and uncouth surprise. She made it a practice to expect such things from her coworkers, which made it easy to avoid being bothered by them. Despite the fact that she never gave any of her secret pranksters the pleasure of knowing they hurt her, she was human, and some of the pranks hit her deep. There had been a few occasions when she occasionally went in the restroom at work and cried. She clearly understood the prejudice imposed on gays in this society, which was hard to swallow. How could adults be so cruel? Jasmine was a kind, compassionate, gentle, and thoughtful woman. There were more than a few times when she had ordered takeout lunch for her whole department and paid out of her own pocket. She gave anonymous Christmas gifts, flowers and candy on Valentine's Day, cards and small gifts for the mothers and fathers in her department on their respective days, and never asked for anything in return. She never even let it be known that she gave the gifts because not only was secrecy more exciting and special, she did not want to be offended by the gifts being given back. Jasmine also volunteered time at soup kitchens and gave anonymous checks to different charities. She was a wonderful human who had never said or done anything bad to anyone who did not deserve it. Yet and still, she was being unjustifiably tormented by jealous women and men whose proposals to sleep with her were denied. Even when the proposals were offensively laid out, she still remained calm and kind in her denial. A lot of men in her department, and some she knew outside her job, looked upon her being gay or lesbian as a strike to their characters. But her choice of living had nothing to do with anyone but herself and Tierney. On this particular day, Jasmine ignored the childishness. Nothing was going to spoil her day in light of the fact that she had enjoyed a wonderful night of great sex with her spouse, with whom she would also be having one of their regular luncheons at Isabella's. And she also had beautiful anticipations of her and Tierney's potential futures with Peter Fontaine. She could not help but remember his strong hands and the firm but comfortable grip with which he held her when they danced. She could not forget those lovely, attentive brown eyes that focused totally on herself and Tierney as either of them spoke, the smooth way he danced, his short, wavy black hair, the strength in his strong-looking face, and his trim, hard, muscular body with definition so deep she could feel the details even through his tailor-made Italian suit as they danced. The emotion he aroused in her was something she could not escape. Even as she thought about him, she could feel her blood racing with excitement, not to mention the moisture between her legs. Yet she did not feel the least bit guilty about her thoughts because her commitment to Tierney was certainly not in jeopardy. Jasmine, after retreating to her office at the back of the department, quickly turned to her desk fan and sat directly in front of it in an attempt to cool off and regain her composure. She considered smoking one of her Newport Light cigarettes, as she occasionally did when at work, but before she could get the pack out of her desk drawer, her secretary's voice came over the intercom. "Yes," Jasmine responded. "Miss Ambrose, there's a Mr. Peter Fontaine here to see you. He says he has an appointment," the secretary stated. "Thank you. Send him in," Jasmine responded. She then quickly began fixing her hair and clothes, checking her makeup, and turned the fan on high. "Come in," Jasmine said in response to a knock on the door. "Miss Ambrose," Peter said as he stuck his head inside the door. "Hi, Mr. Fontaine. Come on in," Jasmine said with a hard smile as she got up to greet Peter. "I hope you didn't forget our appointment for today. I'll be heading back to Atlanta in a few hours and I want to discuss some things before I go," Peter explained. "Oh, you're going back already?" Jasmine asked in a disappointed sort of way. "Yes, I have some other business to take care of. I'm also doing something with the kids. If things sound good, though, visiting LA could become a frequent practice," Peter said. "I assume things in reference to profit?" Jasmine asked. "Well, yes. What else would I be talking about?" Peter responded. "I mean, though making money is great, there are other important aspects to life," Jasmine pointed out. "Miss Ambrose, for the record, though making money is very important to me, it in no way infers that I am a greedy man. I am in a position where I need currency to fulfill the obligations I have to my kids, Peter pointed out. Excuse me for sounding misunderstanding. I was in no way suggesting that you were greedy. I apologize. It's just that Tyrion and I, Jasmine began before she wisely caught herself. Tyrion, you what? Tyranny and you what? Peter asked with a curious look on his face. Never mind. Let's just get back to business at hand, Jasmine said as she began getting out stock reports and other investment information to show Peter. During the whole meeting with Peter, Jasmine was distracted. Though Peter did not actually notice due to Jasmine's high level of discipline and professionalism, she knew eventually she would have to come up with a mature and tasteful way to make Peter the proposal with which she and Tyranny had discussed. Patience, she kept thinking to herself, patience. At about this time, Tyranny was on her job going over some figures in her books and looking through brochures for a new line of beauty products which would soon be hitting the market. Considering the prestige of her business as well as the clientele, she usually received information on new products long before other salons did. And though she had her own office in each of her salons, she opted to look over paperwork or brochures in the midst of her clients. It was easier to discover how to better cater to their needs. She took her work very seriously and understood how important it was for her to keep her clients satisfied, which she consistently did. Tierney did not face the same type of ridicule at her job as Jasmine did, but there were still remarks, some sly and others ignorant, with which she patiently but firmly dealt with. On this particular day, while sitting in front of the large front window of one of her salons, a fairly handsome man who looked to be in his early 20s walked into her salon. The man waved at a woman who was getting a perm, and then he sat down and began flipping through a magazine. Apparently, he was waiting for the woman with whom he waved. The man was receiving a lot of nonverbal attention from many of the women in the salon, especially an early 40s employee named Valerie, who also had a problem with keeping her thoughts to herself and was compelled to voice them to Tierney. Ooh, girl, that young man is so fine. The things I could do with that young stud, woo, I'm getting hot just thinking about it. What do you think about him, girl? Val asked. He's all right, I guess, Tierney said after only quickly glancing at the man, then focusing her attention back to her brochures. Oh, I didn't mean to offend you. I forgot about you, Val explained. No, I don't know, Val. You forgot what? That I was lesbian? Tierney boldly asked as she looked up at Val. Tyranny, I didn't mean to be rude, Val humbly explained. I'm sure you didn't, but let me explain something to you. Yes, I do love Jasmine, and I'd never do anything to hurt her, nor would I ever be unfaithful. But just because I'm lesbian doesn't mean I don't recognize attractive men, okay? So please stop considering me some type of non-human creature, Tyranny boldly explained. This was basically why Tyranny was not hassled as much as Jasmine, because Tyranny was more vocal when people disrespected her, or Jasmine. She would also be willing to fight if her words were not enough to alleviate the problem. Not that she was a wild woman or anything, she just settled for nothing less than total respect. Jasmine, too, wanted respect, but she chose to go the alternative route, usually just keeping things to herself. Tierney would explain to Jasmine how it was unhealthy, but Jasmine was set in her ways. She was not the type of person who wanted to hurt other people's feelings, even if they hurt hers. Also on this day, Tierney too was experiencing post-emotional symptoms from the previous night with Peter. Just the thought of him made her heart beat faster. Her thoughts of Jasmine were also strong. She concluded from her conversation with Jasmine the previous evening. Jasmine was feeling things the same way she was. And I'm sorry. With that, I'm going to end it. But follow me for episode 7. All right? Peace out.